What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So, I just got back from Justice League, and I mean, this was one of the movies this year that I was super hyped, like, not hyped, but super excited for. Like, I really wanted to see it. DC heroes, they're my childhood, man. They're my childhood. I love Superman. Like, Superman is my favorite hero out of all of them. Like, for me, like, Marvel heroes don't even make my top five. My top five are Superman, Batman, Flash, Green Arrow, Wonder Woman. Just for me personally. Obviously, that not power level wise, there's nothing. But just for me personally, what I grew up with, what I read, stuff like that. Those are my top five. Marvel doesn't even crack that. So it has hurt me. It has hurt me that these DC films, these new DC universe stuff. Like, obviously, I like the Nolan Batman trilogy. I thought they were really good. But this new DC universe that they're creating to go up against Marvel's, it has hurt me the way it's gone. Apart from Wonder Woman. So first up, I'll just state that I'm going to keep the first part of this review spoiler-free as possible. Like, I don't want to ruin it for you guys if you want to go and see it. I know a lot of people haven't this first day out, so I don't want to ruin it for you guys. So I'll try and keep the spoiler-free, stuff we knew beforehand, stuff that's in the trailers, stuff like that. I don't want to ruin it for you guys. Then we'll move into a spoiler section, and I'll tell you guys when we're going there, okay? All right. So this is a very messy movie. It's very messy. And it's in two parts, essentially. So first half is essentially the team coming together, right? And it does a lot of cuts. There's a lot of cuts, like chop changing, go to different places, follow this character, follow this character, follow this character, Bruce, Arthur, Diana, then Bruce with Flash, Bruce with Aquaman. Like, it jumps around a lot. And it goes from person to person. And it even goes to, like, Lois and Martha and everyone. So they're trying to establish everyone where they are after Batman v Superman, right? Because this kind of takes off just after that. Maybe a few months or something after that. I'm not too sure on the exact timeline. But it's in the aftermath of the death of Superman. And they're trying to set up, like, where the world is, what's going on, and all that stuff. And then obviously bringing the team together. Second half, which is the big fight with Steppenwolf, who's the bad guy in this film, is messy because of the CGI. There is a lot of CGI in this film, mainly around Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf is all CGI. I'm pretty sure he's all CGI with a mocap face. Because when he does the close-ups, when he's talking and stuff, it feels very mocap. It's not a person actually wearing it. And all of him is CGI, and it is evident. It is evident in this film. And I mean, it's not like it's the first time that a superhero movie has done, like, CGI villains. It is not a thing. Like, even Marvel does them. Marvel does them all the time. But I always feel like Warner Brothers, they struggle with CGI. They struggle with it. I don't, like, there are moments, like, it looks blurry in places. Like, it's like, a lot of it looks like it's, like, on a green screen. Like, they're just standing in front of green screens and stuff. It's obvious. It's very obvious, and it hurts, especially when you're fighting the CGI person. You make the actual hero CGI as well. It just does not. It does not bode well. Doesn't work too well, and it came off very messy in the last part of the film. So for me, this film, they needed another film before this. They really did. I feel like they needed the Batman film before this to establish at least the three major characters in this film. Because we all know that Henry Cavill's in this film. We just didn't know what he was going to be doing. He's been in some trailer stuff. He's been on the promotional stuff. So the three that have been established somewhat. I think two have really been established. One's had a half a movie. So the two are Superman and Wonder Woman. And the third one is Batman, kind of. We still don't know where this Batman sits. You know, what's driving him, what he's been through, and stuff like that. And I was looking for that in this film. I really was, and there wasn't much about it. There really wasn't. And I feel like we needed that Batman story. We needed that. We needed them to go in, explain why Bruce is the way he is. Why is this more aggressive, more willing to kill Batman a thing? You know, what drove him to be this way? Why is he, you know, the way he is? And in this movie, he feels tired. He feels like a tired Batman. A Batman who's seen too much shit, been through too much, and he's doing this because he has to, not because he wants to. So, and it doesn't play well with the other characters who are coming in, who are fresh and new faces. And when he has to take on a leadership role, it does not play well. And honestly, when he gets the first out of not being the leader, he takes it. And then he's constantly trying to pass off the leadership to someone else, which is, for me, not the thing. Because for Justice League, generally, it's either Superman or Batman who's the leader. You know, generally, you know, Superman is the big figurehead. He's the guy that, you know, kind of the main leader, but Bruce is doing all the, you know, tactician. He's doing all the other jobs around it, sort of thing. And when Soup's not there, Bruce is in charge, right? This, not so much. And the tactician and detective stuff that I've complained about with this Batman is not very good here either, which is a bit of a problem. Like, there are some decisions that he makes that are not what you would imagine a Batman making. He's very emotional about it. He's very, like, hot-headed. Makes the instant decisions that, you know, you would regret later on. I like Ben Affleck's Batman. I do. It was a highlight for Batman v Superman, which was I have major problems with that movie. But I think this Batman needs developing. He does. And then obviously, you know, with the other two, Wonder Woman and Superman is obviously limited in this capacity, this movie, because of, you know, he died in Batman v Superman. So we're coming through this film. And Wonder Woman, I think she's probably the best character out of all of these characters. She was a big highlight. She's delightful in this film. I'm surprised how much I actually like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I really am. I think she's fantastic. And that the Wonder Woman movie has done wonders for her. Really has. And it sets her up beautifully for this film. Beautifully. And that's when you get to the other three, which is Cyborg, Aquaman, and Flash. And I said this when I did my trailer reactions and stuff like that. I felt like Jason Momoa and Aquaman were going to steal this movie. I really did. Coming out of it, maybe not. I think I could have done with a bit more of him. I think they needed to show him off a little bit more. He has a few scenes which you know, underwater, and you can see his full potential and stuff like that. But the big major fight, obviously, that's on land, so you're not seeing all of his stuff, which is kind of the problem with Aquaman, right? It's always the problem with Aquaman is he's very situational based. But he was still cool, and I like Jason Momoa. I really do. I like him in the sense of being Aquaman, and he brings a different take to Aquaman. I like him. He's very, you know, macho, very, you know, kind of a solo, like, oh, I don't need you guys' help. I'm fine. I don't need him. You know, I'm better alone. You know, that sort of thing. And, you know, he's, you know, typical macho. Yeah, he's what you would expect out of a Jason Momoa Aquaman. And I like him. And I'm excited. I'm actually excited for an Aquaman movie. And they set up some stuff in this film for that, which I am excited for. So, but he felt underdeveloped. He felt like, you know, you didn't see any, you know, what's driving him. Why is he like this? What, you know, they mention bits. They mention little bits, but I would like maybe some flashback memories or something just to get, you know, something from him. Just to, you know, develop that character just a little bit. just a little bit. And it's the same with Flash and Cyborg. Like, they mention their origins, they mention like what they went through, but there's no telling, there's no showing, there's no seeing, what was Victor like before he was Cyborg? What was, the death of Barry's mother? They mention it all, and they go and they see, they show him talking to Barry's dad, like Barry talking to his dad, like in jail. Like they mention all this stuff, and that's how they find him in the end. Is him going to see his dad in jail, but they needed more work. And when you try to mesh all these characters together, it felt like the new guys became like the B team in the team. Like they were the sub-heroes. They were the guys in the background, while the guys that have been already established, Wonder Woman and Batman, and to a point, like we'll get into Henry Cavill, because I can't mention too much about what happens with him. But those guys, they were the big main ones, and the others weren't. They weren't they should have had a little more focus put onto them to develop them more. And that will get you excited for their movies that are coming up. Because, like I said, I'm excited for Aquaman. I'm excited for Flash. I want to see this Flash develop as a hero, because we'll get into Flash in a bit. I don't want to see Cyborg. I don't. I got major problems with Cyborg. And I will get into that. So, Cyborg, from the moment I saw him, right? From the moment I saw the freaking, alien, transformery looking version of Cyborg that we've seen here, I had major problems because there's CGI everywhere. It just didn't look right. He looked dull. He always looked mopey. All the lines that we've seen with him, he just wasn't, that Cyborg that we like. The Teen Titans Cyborg. I mean, I know that's not this Cyborg. Like the Cyborg that's in the Justice League is a bit more mature, but at least he did say booyah. I will say that he says booyah. I won't say where, but he says booyah, which was the big thing for me. It's like, you better say booyah. But he does. But even that was very like, booyah. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't like anything interesting. And he mopes through this entire film because he's sort of still getting over this transformation that he's going through. And I understand that. But he was just not interesting at all. They didn't go into any of his backstory. They didn't really even show him not being Cyborg, like when he was what he looked like normally. Like there are scenes in trailers where you see him like being a football player and just walking along. Like you don't even know what accident or anything he was in. Nothing. It was like they just said he was in an accident and that his dad saved him and did some stuff that he doesn't approve of. And he hates his dad for it, which is, Cyborg. But Cyborg has major issues, and I don't know if he could carry a movie by himself. I don't think he can. They'd have to do major work and have a really good director and a really good writer behind it to really get behind, to actually figure him out. Because he was not all that good. He wasn't. And that's not Ray Fisher's fault. I think it's what they gave him. It's the character that they gave him. It's not their fault that they stuck like half a green thing on him. Like the only thing that is not CGI on Cyborg is like this half of his face, like just the one part. That's it. So the rest of him, he would have been in a green suit with half a thing on his face the entire time. So that was a bit sad. Flash, they did some things with him. So, like we expected, he was the comic relief. He was the funny one. He was the, for me, he was like a normal person being around all these major superheroes. So, like, imagine being yourself. Like, if you're a fan of superheroes and all the rest of it, and you run into, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and you go to the Batcave and all this stuff, and you all experiencing all this, and you're a superhero too, and you get to experience it. That was what Flash was. But they made him awkward, and I mean like socially awkward. Like he doesn't really like people. He thinks they're too slow. It doesn't work for him. I don't know if that's his powers. They made him like kind of a squatter, like a loner and all the rest of it. they've done some things to him that I don't know if I like yet. I think he needs his own movie to establish this stuff and maybe help him grow as a character. And in this movie, he's not very heroic. He is constantly on civilian duty. He's constantly off saving civilians. There's very little time that he's actually fighting anything. There really isn't. Like, he has some really cool scenes and some funny scenes and all the rest of it, but when it comes to actually being one of these heroes, he's like a support hero. He really is. Like, he's just, you know, like the whole dink to Wonder Woman for his sword. You know, sometimes he'll just knock some minions off. Like, when it comes to being a hero and actually doing something, he's not there yet. And I think that's what they're trying to make him kind of like the Spider-Man of the Marvel. You know, how he's sort of developing as a hero. He's learning. He'll eventually get there. I think that's what they're going to do with Flash here. So I'll give it time. I'll give Flash time. Because, you know, he hasn't had that development. He hasn't had the time put into him. So I'll give him the time. I think it deserves that. His character deserves that. But yeah, I mean, this movie made a big effort to be more lighthearted. I think they took the stuff that they learned from Wonder Woman. They were like, look, people really like Wonder Woman. They like how Chris Pine, you know, the funny sort of, you know, the innocent Diana, you know, who's seen the world for the first time, and then this sort of gruff, you know, seen too much stuff, knows the world, kind of sarcastic Chris Pine character comes in, leads her about. They have a bit of adventure with some funny friends, and but also has a superhero feel to it in a different era that you're not used to. They liked that, and they think, okay, you know, we know you didn't like Batman v Superman because it was too dark, so that's why we're bringing Joss Whedon in, and he's going to bring the Avengers stuff over, and you can see that all over this film. There's little bantering together, there's, you know, little one-liners, there's little, you know, funny little scenes here, there, and everywhere. But it makes it difficult because you know where the movies could come from. Because the way I see it, right, is, so it started with Man of Steel, and then it moved to Batman v Superman, then Justice League. Wonder Woman's a bit off because of the timeline. Like, it's not linked in with this current timeline. It was a past thing. It was an origin story. So it doesn't link in with these other two. It just established her as a character, which was necessary. So going from each one of these three, this one is like a freaking whiplash turnaround, like crazy, like, difference. But it has the same aesthetic. It has the same dark stuff, but with the light, comic, like the light writing, that's where it makes it messy again, and it feels like bits and pieces being just dropped all over it to make it a little bit better. So the thing is, I had a good time watching this film. I had a good time, and it is nowhere near as bad as Batman v Superman. It's not. It's just not. And I want to like it, but like I said, it's not as good as Wonder Woman, and it's not as good as I think it struggles to get past Man of Steel, for me specifically, because I'm a Superman fan. So, like, it's probably out of the, I guess you could count Suicide Squad. It's better than Suicide Squad. I'll say that. It's better than Suicide Squad. So out of the 5 that we've had, it's probably sitting around 3rd right now. So it's average. And it is an average film, which for me is, Justice League should not be average. We've waited a long time for a Justice League film, and it should not be average. So that's where it gets a little bit annoying. And that's where I think they needed to maybe take a little more time. Stop worrying about Marvel. Stop worrying about Marvel. Marvel has been doing this longer and has established its universe far longer than you have, and probably has a bit more resources, to be honest with you, now that, you know, with Disney and all that. Warner Brothers, I don't think, has that type of resources to throw at these films. So, like I said, I think it needed one more film. One more film to establish just one more character, and it needed to probably be Batman. It needed to be Batman, because Batman is a kind of a letdown in this film. And I'll also say Henry Cavill is a letdown in this film too. And I can't say too much about Henry Cavill because it's spoiler stuff. It's spoiler stuff, and I don't want to ruin it for you guys. So, yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. So there are two end of credits scenes. There is one, just after the initial credits roll, and then there's that scene, and then there's one right at the end of the credits. Right at the end of the credits. First one is kind of a fun one, which is worth the watch. If you're a fan of these heroes, you'll know it. You'll know this scene, which is kind of funny. And then the one right at the end, that one has like plot stuff, universal universe stuff. So I do suggest you stay and watch it if you are into the characters and the DC world and characters and stuff like that. You'll recognize people. You'll recognize some people. So I do recommend you stay if you want to, if you're into that stuff, or just watch it on YouTube. I'm sure it'll show up at some point. But yeah. But final thoughts for the non-spoiler section. Is it worth seeing? If you're a superhero fan, yeah, go see it. Go see it. If you like the DC heroes and stuff like that, you'll appreciate it because you won't need that character development so much because the characters. Flash, Aquaman. Like, even though they're different, they're doing different things with them. The principles. The basic things around them. I think also they did some good stuff with Alfred. Like, Alfred's more involved in this one. They did some better things. And it deserves a watch. It deserves a watch. Is it like a must-see, go out right now and watch it? No. I think watch it on your own time. Like, watch it, if you, want to wait a couple weeks, let the dust settle a little bit, maybe see a few more reviews, stuff like that. I do recommend that. But I think it is worth a watch. But just be aware that it is an average film. It is an average film for me. But yeah. Alright guys, we are moving to the spoiler section now. So thank you very much for watching. If you are heading out now, I appreciate it. I don't want to ruin it for you guys. So I'm going to break it up into two here. So spoiler section is incoming. If you are going to go off and watch this film, go off and watch it. Then come on back. The spoiler section is always going to be waiting right here for you. Come on back and we'll know. Then you're not, stuff's not ruined for you. That's the last thing I want to do for you guys. So thank you guys for watching. If you are heading out, thank you very much. Peace and all the rest of it. I appreciate it. And I'll catch us next time. But for those of you who want to stick around for the spoiler section, that's incoming right now. All right. So spoilers right now. So, as the little Kiwi pops up, spoiler section. And I think this is where we can really get into the nitty-gritty part. This is where we can get into the really nitty-gritty stuff. And for me, we're going to start off with Superman. And how they brought him back. I was kind of hoping that he'd just wake up on his own. Like, he just, slowly restored himself. He, managed to get himself up. And sort of, wakes up with a bit of a beard and, the black and white, suit and all the rest of it. Like the return of Superman. Like that's the stuff that I was hoping for. For me, this was, what they did was a desperation thing. Like, oh my God, I can't, like Batman going, I can't be the leader. I can't do this. Oh, we have an option to wake up Superman. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. I don't care what the risks is. I don't care if he could wake up and be a complete utter monster. We don't know. There's no, precedent for any of this. There's nothing. Let's just wake him up. We need him. He has to be. And it's like, there was no subtlety to it. There was no, like, I would have loved it if Steppenwolf was just beating the shit out of these guys. Probably Diana's the only one who can really go up against them, all the rest of it. And Superman comes in and just saves the day, just out of nowhere. And that scene with Alfred where he goes like, he thought you might come. It's like, let's hope you're not too late, sort of thing. I was hoping that was the scene where Clark shows back up and picks up his suit from Bruce. Bruce maybe kept his suit or something. Like, that's what I was hoping for. But that scene wasn't even in the movie. It wasn't even in the movie. So the stuff with Superman felt very... It was not subtle in any way. There was no mystery to it in any way. And it's kind of forcing him back. Like, okay, we know we made a mistake killing him off in the last one. So, boom, Superman. There you go. He's back. He's all the rest of it. And the scene where he wakes up and he's in front of the monument and all four of them show up, and obviously Batman shows up a bit later. I liked that scene. And my God, is Superman on another level compared to those guys. My God, I thought Diana would be slightly closer. And she is. She's at least capable of going one-on-one with him. But when when he really like, you guys better just get out of my way or I might kill you. Because I don't know what's happening. I'm pissed off that you woke me up. That you didn't even let me die, for God's sake. Get out of my way. So him and Diana going at it, I was hoping for a bit more. I want a little bit more out of that fight. But they put Superman on a completely another level. Like, the scene when Flash comes in and he's like, he's in super speed mode and everything's slowing, all still and all the rest of it. And then the eye from Superman just, what are you doing? Get that shit out of here. And he just brushes the Aquaman, Cyborg, and Wonder Woman off. Just whatever. And then just freaking smashes Barry like it's nothing. Just saying, you're not the only one who can go this fast, pal. It was, as a Superman fan, it was cool. It was cool because you saw yeah, this is cool because this is my hero and this is how badass he is and how, just super powerful he is. But I would have liked it if Wonder Woman was on more of a level term with him. I think that would have been needed. I think just having a punch out would have been awesome. It would have been so good. I mean, they had a little bit there where they were having that headbutt thing, but Diana does one, and then Clark's just sitting there going, "Oh hell no!" Boom, and then just does it again. It was. I liked that scene, and then when he just threw Batman away, get out of my way, Lois is here. I liked it. But then after that, he was so stiff. He was so robotic. It was not even a thing. It was disappointing massively. It's Henry Cavill, he's a better actor than that. You gotta let him do a bit more. Seriously. Stiff lines, no charisma whatsoever. It felt like he had a little more charisma in the trailer. And even those scenes weren't in the trailer. It was different. I don't know, man. I don't know. He was painful sometimes. He was painful. And then when he showed up for that final battle with Steppenwolf, my God, did he own Steppenwolf. He just shows up. Boom, Steppenwolf. And that completely diminishes Steppenwolf as a hero, as a villain. It meant nothing. Steppenwolf meant nothing. Nothing in this film. As a villain. It was almost, depressing. It's really? You're not going to make a bigger deal out of Steppenwolf being here. I know he's the vanguard for Darkseid, but even that they didn't really talk about all that much. He just said for Darkseid one time. That was it. He should have at least mentioned it to the others, so the team gets put on notice. Oh, who's this Darkseid? He's not the main bad guy? What the heck? That sort of thing. That would have been good. But when Soup turns up and just owns Steppenwolf. He set the team on a complete another different level. But I felt like that in turn showed the real mortality of Batman. Batman disappeared in this final fight. Just disappeared. His big plan was, I'm going to rock around with the radio all turned up, with this music, that seems to attract the parademons. And then I'm going to, and then I'll probably die. That was his big plan. And, you know, obviously the team saves him, and that was like a team building moment. But, like, he disappeared. He disappeared in that fight, and it's like, this does not bode well. This does not bode well when bigger and bigger bad guys are going to show up, and Batman is going to disappear. You know, he can't go up against Darkseid, but, you know, the comics, they do a better job at that. You know, even the Justice League, you know, shows and, you know, the animated movies and stuff, they do a better job at making Batman more a leader in that group. This movie, not so much. And obviously when Superman shows up, blows it completely out the door. So they need to work on Batman massively for the next one. One of the scenes that I really loved was the flashback for the Themyscira stuff, where they showed the first invasion of Steppenwolf. That was some Lord of the Rings shit right there. That was awesome. Are you kidding me? I wanted to see more of that fight. I really did. That was so cool. You had the Amazonians, the Atlanteans, the tribes of men at that time. Then you had Green Lantern, the Green Lantern for that sector showing up. And then you had Olympian gods. Olympian gods. Are you kidding me? That was cool as shit right there. That was awesome. I would love to see more of that battle. It was so cool. That was the coolest Steppenwolf was. Which was disappointing. It was disappointing. But that scene was great. That was so cool. It's showing off the Atlantis stuff, the Amazonian, like, the mystical side of this universe. I loved it. And obviously seeing the Green Lantern stuff was good too. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Green Lantern. I mean, I think anyone who they choose, like whether they choose Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart, I don't know which way they're going to go there, but, you know, whatever they do, I just hope it's better than the Ryan Reynolds one. I really do. That was disappointing. The look of them, I mean, you saw it. You saw the one for Earth's sector very briefly, and obviously he died. So you see the ring zipping off and finding someone who's worthy of it, sort of thing. But it was cool to see them, you know, in the mix. And I mean, I'm looking forward to Green Lantern showing up, because Green Lantern's, you know, it's one of my top 5. So, no, Green Lantern's one of my top 10 superheroes. So, I want it. I want him to show up and be good So, we'll see. We know that they've set this up. So I think he'll show up, but before the next Justice League movie. Guarantee that. He'll probably show up in one of the films coming out for the others. So we'll see. The Mother Box stuff, you know, the whole Unity thing and the making everything look like Apocalypse, I'm guessing. It was like, I felt like, I wish that they used, instead of saying, for the Unity all the time that Steppenwolf kept talking about, can you just say for Darkseid? You know, just say that. You know, for Unity and all the rest of Mother and all it did not click with me at all. The Mother Box stuff is interesting. Like, I loved how they were separated out. One with the Amazonians, one with the Atlanteans, and that was cool, by the way. The Atlantis stuff was great, you know, with Hera and all that. That was cool. I like seeing the underwater combat, and that what gets me excited for the Aquaman movie. But it was cool seeing them all separated round. But the whole Unity thing, and, you know, Steppenwolf constantly talking to the, like, Mother and all the rest of it's like, it didn't sit all too well with me, that stuff. It was not a highlight at all. Yeah, it was the flashback battle was far more interesting. Obviously the two sort of end of credits or one mid credits, one end credits scenes. First one, the race between Flash and Superman. That's always a famous thing. That's always a famous race between those two. It was great. I like seeing that. That's a bit of a playfulness that this movie did do. I liked it. I think it was quite cool. But by the way, Flash runs so weird. He runs so weird. It's like he's punching as he's running. He's like, rah, rah. It's the most weirdest run you have ever seen. It's like, for God's sake, just run normally. You know, it's just run but super speed. Like, for me, you know, CW's Flash, yeah, it's a little bit more like low key and all the rest of it, but low budget. I felt like they do a better job with that whole super speed thing than what this movie did. So I don't know. It was just weird. It was weird. Him, you know, the slow motion running was like, no. That's just weird. It's just weird. But that scene was funny. I liked it. You know, the whole brunch thing, and I liked it. I think it was cool. It was cool. I think it was a funny scene to throw in there. So the real end of credits scene. So stay right to the end. If you're a superhero fan, it's kind of worth it. Especially if you're a Deathstroke fan. Dude, when I saw that, I was like, yes! Bring Slade in. Bring Slade Wilson in. This is awesome. I despise Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I just don't. But that scene, like, they're like, yo, okay, so they're creating a league of themselves. Why don't we create a league of our own? So it's setting up, you know, the Legion of Doom, which is kind of cool. Lex Luthor, Slade Wilson, like, just seeing Deathstroke there was cool. And he looked cool. Looked somewhat similar to the Arrow, CW's Arrow, Deathstroke. I wouldn't mind it if Manu, who plays not Lex Luthor, Deathstroke in Arrow, that it would have been. I wouldn't mind him there. He's quite a good Deathstroke. But Slade Wilson, that was cool. That was cool. I'd like to see him go up against Batman. I think that could be potentially setting up for the Batman film that's coming. So I'm a Deathstroke fan. I like Deathstroke. I like Slade Wilson. So we'll see. We'll see as he comes along, and it was cool to see him. And it was a nice little end of credits scene. So if you are interested in that stuff, stay to the end. It's somewhat worth it. And you see where Lex Luthor gets to and all the rest of it. All right. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this movie, it's average. It's an average movie, which is disappointing. It's disappointing. I would have far liked it. I would have liked it more. Like, I expect more out of a Justice League film. We've waited a long time for one. And when you're playing with characters like these, this is, for God's sake, this is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and all the rest of it. These are not just these rinky-dink, I don't really know this character sort of thing. These are major superheroes with major characters and already majorly established, you know, character likes and all the rest of it. And I know they want to change some stuff and people want to do all that stuff. That's fine. But if you can't make a good movie out of this, it's worrying. It's worrying. So, and I mean, I was optimistic because of what Wonder Woman showed me. You know, Wonder Woman nailed it for me. I felt like it turned this, you know, slide that they were on around. But I felt like it's kind of like it was on the way up again, and it's gone, and then it's starting to come back down again. It's starting to. It's not a flop. It's not a failure. It's not Batman v Superman. But it is average, which is disappointing. It's disappointing. But it is, if you're into this stuff, it's worth going and watching. But yeah. Alright guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace. Bye.